Persuade listeners to adopt viewpoint or ideas or to take some action. Appeal to the audience interest. Use logic and emotions to support the position. Avoid using notes. Thank you.
Thank you. Harbinder's speech was entitled, "Non-Veg Diets Are One of the Greatest Problems." Harbinder.
Hello, Toastmasters and most welcome guests. So if we are given a choice between a non-veg food like chicken or an apple and not concerned about our health, what would you prefer? So most of us who are non-veg would prefer chicken. Like the reason, maybe like our taste bud tell us to do that. So why does it taste better? So let us see why. So we humans are the most advanced creature on this earth. We have the capability to think, eat virtually anything. Not like the other animals, some of them who can just eat only the plants, others who can only eat animal products. During the time of our ancestors, most of our food was mainly from plants. Only some of it was from animals. And for that, they had to go for hunting, and it was somewhat difficult to get. Since it was difficult to get and it had more energy value, so we developed our liking for that. So as we progressed, we created the things which we like the most in abundance. So one of them is the non-veg diet. So due to that, our consumption of non-veg food has reached to an extent that it is creating harm to our body. So it's related with many diseases like obesity, heart diseases, strokes, and even cancer. It has been revealed from many studies that animal proteins promote cancer. So these are the harmful effects to the health. But there is a big area which is having huge impact due to non-veg food. So that is our environment. So as per United Nations, the greenhouse gases which are responsible for warming our climate, for global warming, the greenhouse gases produced from the non-veg products, like animal products, the total amount is much more than the produced from all the car, trucks, planes together of the whole world. This is about 40% more. So as per United Nations, our main focus should be meat industry when dealing with issues like environment, like global warming, soil degradation, water pollution, water shortage, air pollution. So just to give an idea, let us compare the resources required for these two types of foods. For 1 pound of, let's compare like 1 pound of animal protein and 1 pound of plant protein like soya protein. So it requires about 12 times more land to produce the same amount of animal protein and about 13 times more fossil fuel and about 15 times more water to produce the same amount of animal protein. And 80% of the deforested area in Amazon, which is considered to be the lungs of the earth, is used as cattle pasture. And 70% of the food grain grown in Canada is used for feeding the farm animals. So if only 10% of the population changes to vegetarian diet, the huge problem of global warming is vastly diminished. So another way of saying is, if we just decrease our consumption by 10%, the huge problem of global warming will be vastly decreased. So this is a very small price to pay for a huge problem. So this doesn't mean that we should deprive ourselves the enjoyment of non-veg food. There's many ways we can decrease our consumption. Example, like changing to eggs, fish, poultry as our main source of proteins. As egg is considered to have the highest bioavailability of proteins, and fish and poultry are considered to are much leaner than beef and pork. So, as Albert Einstein once said, there is nothing on this earth which is benefit to humans' health and increase the chances of survival than the progression to the vegetarian diet. Thank you.
Take a moment to fill out your evaluation form. That was a very valuable speech. I remember I was watching TV and a documentary on that particular problem, and I believe the answer was something like 100 gallons of water produces 1 pound of beef. It was astronomical, the amount of waste that actually goes into producing beef. Our second speaker this evening is Lamine Kane, and his evaluator will be Andrew Bosch. Andrew, if you can give us the goals of the speech.
With pleasure. Goals. Lamine's goals this afternoon are to speak to inform, select new and useful information, organize for easy understandability and retention, and motivate the audience to learn.
Thank you. Lamine's speech is entitled, "What is the Brexit thing all about?" Lamine Kane.
For the last couple of months, the waves have been inundated by one term, Brexit. In TVs, radio, they were talking about it a lot. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, tonight I will try to tell you what this Brexit thing is all about by responding to 8 questions. The first question is, what does Brexit mean? The Brexit is that Britain has decided after a referendum to leave the European Union. They voted either to stay or to leave. So the leave won the referendum by 52 to 48. But the Brexit, the term itself, is a combination of Britain and exit. Brexit. It was taken from a little time back when Greece was considering leaving the European Union. So at that time, the term they used was Grexit, which is Greece and exit. So why did Britain chose to leave the European Union? So the reason was the referendum, which the Leave won, and also they won. There was a lot of controversy as to whether the European Union was beneficial to the United Kingdom or not. So the government decided to give the voice to the people so that they could vote and see if they would stay or not. Which takes us to our third question. What is the European Union? So the European Union is a political and economic partnership between 28 countries. It was first started after the Second World War, based on the idea that countries that trade together or have economic partnership would be less likely to go to war against each other. Now the European Union has evolved to combine 28 countries, and they also have their own currency, which is called euro, the euro. For our fourth question, now that they have voted, would the exit be automatic? No, it's not. Britain or the government will have to first evoke what is called the Article number 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, which gives them 2 years between Britain and the European Union to negotiate what are the terms of the exit. So they have 2 years to negotiate. This means that there will be a lot of issues to negotiate about. And one of the major issues they will have to come to an agreement or to negotiate about is immigration. And in fact, immigration was one of the causes of the exit. But interestingly enough, there are more than 1 million UK citizens living and working in European Union countries, in other European Union countries. So our fifth question would be, what will happen to those people living and working in other European Union countries? So the answer is, this will mainly depend on the outcome of those negotiations. There are also other European Union citizens living and working in the UK. What will happen to those? The same. A lot of that would depend on the outcome of the negotiation. But because some of those European Union citizens have acquired permanent residency in UK, they will not be impacted by any change in the immigration terms. This takes us to the seventh question. What would be other important issues that they would be negotiating about? There will be the single market, because the European Union, they have a single market, which means that goods and people can travel freely. That is one important issue that would be part of those negotiations. And also, we can from that spring to the 8th question, which is, what will the Brexit entail in terms of regarding the state of the UK? One problem would be Scotland, because if we remember, Scotland wanted to exit the UK. They had a referendum, but the state won. But now this brings back that independence, because the Prime Minister of Scotland said that it wouldn't be democratically acceptable to force Scotland to go out of the European Union. So now they're considering bringing back the independence. Thank you.